everyone, Coach Paula here. Today I'm going to be bringing you more information about bullying. What I want to bring to you today is actual definitions of what bullying is and what it isn't. So when we talk with our kids about bullying, we're very clear with what the definitions are, and so when they feel like they're experiencing it, they can really tell the difference. So the definition of bullying is the use of force through threat or correction. The idea is to abuse, intimidate aggressively, and to dominate. And these behaviors are often repeated and habitual. There are four basic types of abuse to distinguish in bullying. And we want to distinguish that from teasing. So I'm going to talk about teasing right now. Teasing can be characterized as playful and flirtatious. And usually it's reciprocal. So in other words, if two kids kind of like each other, maybe they're not at the point of deciding that, the person has the opportunity to reciprocate the teasing or the flirting, and it's okay. That's how you know the difference between teasing and when it gets a little bit more aggressive, and that leads to taunting. Now the taunting is usually unwelcome. That's where the person feels harassed. Now the next stage, it leads to sometimes a mobbing mentality. And we're going to talk about groups of people bullying in just a minute. But there's four major characteristics of abuse. The first one is emotional. When people are being bullied, they feel emotionally abused. Verbal is the second, and again, they're going to feel verbally abused and attacked. Physical is the third, and often these kids are pushed and shoved and sometimes beat up. And then the last one is cyber. Cyberbullying is where people are getting unwanted threats. Often in text type, you can see all capital letters, exclamation points, bad words, whatever it is, that you know it comes through the form of media. That's your cyber abuse. So what we want to talk about is when it turns from abuse and what abuse really looks like. Okay? So abuse is very aggressive and physical. It's also verbal, but really it's maltreatment. It's when someone is so abusive, it's not treating another human being with any kind of dignity or respect. And what happens is this leads to injury and or assault. That's what actual abuse is. So when we're talking about emotional abuse and verbal and physical and cyber, it usually has to characterize that aggressiveness, maltreatment, leading to injury and assault. Okay, now what we're going to talk about is one-on-one versus groups. One-on-one is self-explanatory. And bullying often takes place in groups. And when this happens, often you're going to find some sort of ranking order. It kind of naturally happens as we are social beings. Also pack mentality, and that's where we were talking about the mobbing effect. And with that, you'll often find people who are second in command, aka lieutenants, and a lot of times those are the people who also assist in the bullying. And they may not be doing the physical harm, but they may be doing the verbal harm. They too are guilty as far as the bullying is concerned. Where does bullying take place? Well, I'm sure you can imagine it takes place everywhere. The most common places are workforce and in schools. Now in the workforce, this often comes down to adults, and they are usually jealous. That's usually what you find the meaning behind it. And then in schools, this comes up often between student to student. It comes between student to teacher. It comes up teacher to teacher, and it comes up teacher to parents. Often you will find bullying everywhere. So in the next video, we're going to talk about how to stop it, what to do. Thanks for joining me.